Shaking my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay and today is the start of a new vlog. It is Sunday night and I started another book. When I did my Spookopoly rolls, I got the little scroll of the feed and I scrolled Goodreads feed and I came across Sign Here because I've been wanting to read it for a long time. I've heard really nothing but fantastic, great things. And so guess what I did, guys? Guess what I did? I started Sign Here by Claudia Lux and I am enjoying my time. I listened to it while I was cleaning today and I'm actually about 50% into the book. So this is following a lot of different characters, but the overarching plot, we are following Peyote. I think that's his name. He is in hell. And unfortunately, in hell, you don't really remember who you were on Earth and what your life was like on Earth. And so his job in hell is to take souls. And he is after one particular soul that is going to complete his family collection. He has a lot of souls in this particular family, and he has to get another soul from that family to complete his collection. And something may happen if he completes his collection. So we're following him and his life and his life in hell. And we are also following this very dysfunctional family. The wife is cheating currently on her husband. We have their daughter who gets this new friend who may not be all she says she is, and there are just some secrets in the closet kind of thing. And so we have mysteries upon mysteries upon mysteries in this book. I think there's going to be some twists, some turns. I am not sure, but I am interested to find out. I'm very intrigued in this because it's turning out to be like a different book than what I thought that it was going to be. I knew that it wasn't going to be like a direct, like a horror novel. I knew it was about somebody in hell that was trying to get a soul, but I feel like it has a lot more depth to it than that because I feel like there's just like a mystery element to it that I didn't know that it would have. So I'm enjoying my time. I'm enjoying the characters. I'm going to continue reading and I'm going to check back in shortly. Alright, so I'm back to kind of talk about Sign Here. Please excuse me, I got dog hair all over me because I live with a bunch of dogs that are very hairy. But that's besides the point. I finished Sign Here and I really ended up really enjoying this book, and I think partially a lot of that was due to false expectation. I think this book was completely marketed wrong. It's not a horror. It's not even really a mystery. It's hard to say what this book is because there is a kind of mystery kind of element to it. I wouldn't even say it's a thriller, but you have these two kind of plots where you're following this man who is in hell and he has made it to the deal level of hell and he is trying to, like I said, get this last generation of this family to make a deal, and then something may happen. That's a mystery, so that would be a spoiler. And then we have, of course, this dysfunctional family, and we continued to be dysfunctional, but honestly, it just takes a lot to surprise me nowadays, especially in a kind of mystery thriller situation. And I am telling you that in one point of this book, my mouth dropped open. So I fully enjoyed this for what it was, and I would recommend it. I think that you just have to know what it is going into it. It does have some humorous portions in it, but I really enjoyed it. Were there plot holes? I think so, yes. But did I mind? No. It just wasn't that serious, but I really enjoyed the kind of mystery elements to the story. And so that brings me to what am I going to read next? So my book club gave me a prompt that I could finally fit another book from my jars into, and that was going to be a book in a series. So I'm going to take this opportunity to read Lessons Never Learned by Rob J. Hayes, which I have been saying for 5,000 years. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it this month. I'm going to read it this month. Well, friends, I'm going to start it now, and I will check in when I get farther in. Now, keep in mind, I gave the first book in this series 3 stars. I don't know whether I'm going to like this one or not. My battery is dying. I have to go. So I may DNF. I don't know. Tune in to find out. All right. So it is Tuesday. Yes, and I started Lessons Never Learned, and I think I said in the last clip, you know, I really wasn't that excited about continuing on in this series because I wasn't that impressed with book 1. I gave it a 3 stars. It was fine, but my problems with it relied on the fact that I don't really like when stories take place in like a confined area. So in this first book, you know, we're in this prison for most of the time, and the, you know, premise of the book is trying for Eska to try to escape this prison. So we're trapped in this one area, and so sometimes that limits me, and I don't like that. But I am 25% into Lessons Never Learned, and I think I said, you know, how I was feeling about it in the beginning, you know, will determine if I continue on with the series, if I DNF the book, whatever. I'm happy to report that I am enjoying this book a lot more because, of course, we are in a wider world and we are able to move around and do things and introduce different characters, different things happening instead of stuck in one kind of place with the same characters. And I love it. I am really, honestly, really enjoying it. I'm 25% in, as I said. I'm kind of immersion reading. I'm listening to it on audio as I'm reading along, and I am enjoying that a lot better. I think at the last one, I listened to majority of it on audio, which is kind of hit or miss with me on fantasy books. But I'm enjoying this one, and I'm excited to continue on. And yes, I will be continuing on. I would not be DNFing the series at this point right now. So we will continue on and just see how I am feeling about it as we go further into the book. Okay, so it's Wednesday, and I'm about 70-ish% into Lessons Never Learned, and I want to apologize to Rob J. Hayes because I gave Along the Razor's Edge 3 stars. I still feel the same about Along the Razor's Edge. But this book here, Lessons Never Learned, love it. Love it. I have fallen in love with Eska. And I think, again, the reason why I didn't care for Along the Razor's Edge is because we were in this kind of confined space, which sometimes just doesn't work for me. But we're now out in the wider world. There is more plot going on than just trying to escape this prison. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I said when I reviewed Along the Razor's Edge that Rob J. Hayes does do this weird thing where he talks like, it's like Eska telling her story, so she does say things like that happen in the future. Which I thought was a little weird at times because I was like, well, I mean, how do I know the stakes if she's telling me already kind of this is what happened in the future? Like how do I feel like there are stakes? Basically, if she's like, well, my daughter turned out to be evil, and whatever it may be that she's talking about in the future. So he's still, of course, telling it in that sense of the story, but to me, in this book, it makes a lot more sense to tell the story that way, if that makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense, but if you've read the book, you know. Like, I feel like it makes a lot more sense in this book, the way that he's telling the story. Either way, I think Rob J. Hayes has a very, very fantastic craft with writing. And it's very clear to me that he can write his way around anything. And I have fallen in love with Eska. He has made that occur. And so I'm interested to see how the next 30% is going to go. But I am very, very excited to continue this series now that I know that I like this second book. Alright, so it's now Saturday. I have finished The Lessons Never Learned by Rob J. Hayes. I wound up giving it 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed this, and I'm enjoying Eska's growth and journey. And some time has passed, some things have occurred here, and I am really looking forward to finishing up this first trilogy. And I think the next 2 books are way into the future. I'm not sure how that works, but I am looking forward to now to continue on in the series. I will definitely be continuing on. I never ever thought that Rob J. Hayes was not a great writer because I really do like his writing style, and so I'm looking forward to reading more books from him, absolutely positively. And then I decided to pick up something a little bit not fantasy for a minute, and that's going to be The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I've heard nothing about this. This was on my Spookabalathon TBR. I'm only about 15-20% in, and I'm enjoying it. You know, we're just now, it's really funny because in light of everything that has happened and the dumpster fires that are always happening around authors in reviewers spaces, it kind of makes, you know, light of that situation because our main character has read a book, and unfortunately it's a book that doesn't have a lot of reviews. And you know, when you're writing a review of something that may not have a lot of reviews, that may affect somebody's livelihood, she gives this book 1 star. And of course the author comments on that and says, hey, I really don't appreciate you. You're hurting my livelihood. Can you please take this review down? Of course she refuses, because she is the reviewer and that's what she felt about the book. And things go from there. And now she's kind of creepily at this house that she's house sitting for, and some creepy things start to happen. And that's where we are in this book. And I am ready for the bonkerness, because I hear this book is really bonkers, and I am ready to continue on with this and hoping to finish this up tomorrow so that I can start something new. My October is going very, very well. The only book that I have left to read for my jar picks is going to be one of my indie self-pub books that I pulled. So I very much do think that I will get to it, even though a lot of the prompts for my book club are not being very kind to those books that I picked out of my jar. But we will figure something out and I will read it. And I'm very happy with how my reading continues to go in the month of October. I will check you guys later. Alright, so it is Sunday and I have finished The Last Word. I finished it yesterday and my thoughts on this are mixed. I gave this one 3 stars. I can understand why people really, really love this, and I can understand why people don't. So I'm probably the only one in the world who thought No Exit by Taylor Adams was just okay, and then I read Hairpin Bridge, which was, again, a disappointment, even worse than No Exit. And this one falls into that category of being very similar to Hairpin Bridge. So much like the way that I don't like stories that fast forward through time and have a lot of time jumps, I also am not the biggest fan of books that take place over a very, very short period of time, which is what this book does. It suffers from that. We were 50% into this book and I was like, what are we going to do for the next 50%? If that makes any sense. And I should never feel that way while I'm reading a book, and I did feel that way with this. I don't think this kind of confirmed my thoughts that I don't really like slasher movies, because to me that's what this reminded me of. Of course, we have this woman who is in this cabin. There's of course several mysteries by the end of the story that unravel, but the premise is she's stuck in this cabin and there's this author coming to seek revenge on her. And so it's taking place over a short amount of time, and people are trying to kill her. Okay, so obviously there are some bonker things that happen here. I think that a lot of people, if you don't read a lot of thrillers, that you'll be surprised at some of the twists and turns at the end of the novel, but I was not. I saw them coming 5,000 miles away, so this really just kind of was a 3-star read for me, but I could understand why people like this bonkers, twisty-turny thriller, because if you are not used to reading those, this is good for you. So that's it. That's all. I think that I am still just making a fantastic job of progress on my TBR this month, and I'm going to continue to do so. I still have 1 book that I have to read for my self-published fantasy, so I'm excited to dive into that, which I should get to in the next week. And I am signing off. I am signing off for this portion of the blog, and I will catch you in the next one.